The modern family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family. The modern family. Join the discussion and give us your feedback. Live with Hatim
Rahman Rahim, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. And peace and blessings be upon our beloved messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. O Allah, grant us knowledge, wisdom and sincerity. Dear brothers and sisters, dear listeners, I'm your host Hatim al-Absalam. I salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you again for joining us on our weekly program, The Modern Family. Today I have an honorable and distinguished guest. My guest today is my elder brother, Haytham bin Harith al-Abd Salam, who is a social responsibility specialist in the oil and gas field. Assalamu alaikum, Haytham.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatu al-ikram, brother Hatim.
How are you?
I am very fine, thank you.
It's been like 3 to 4 years I've been trying so hard to get you here, but finally I got you, and it's an honor to have you in the studio.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
So how are you today?
I am very well, alhamdulillah.
Are you ready for today's program?
Well, it's my honor, and as you said, you've tried a couple of times calling me, and due to unavoidable circumstances, I couldn't attend, but it's really my pleasure and an honor to be your guest in this show.
Well, Brother Haytham, you're a big inspiration to me, as when we grew up, when we were kids, when we were growing up, I was always looking up to you, and you were my role model, and I always wanted to be like you. And today, I think it's very, very important that the audience, we share with them the relationship that we had with each other, and how we grew up, and how we are raising our children to have the same relationship that we had, the strong bond. And inshallah, it's an open chat today,
yes,
and
inshallah.
we'll get to explore different areas, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So to start off, tell us a little bit more about your childhood. Did you enjoy it? Were you a troublemaker, or sorry, but today I'm going to reveal all the secrets.
Well, to start off, I was a bit of a naughty kid.
Okay.
As you can put it, I was a bit hyper, and I liked exploring things, and I was quite. As our parent always tell us, that I was quite a social boy when I was young. So that somehow it shaped the personality that I am today. So, and I guess with the memories that you have, or both of us have, I was quite a troublemaker. MashaAllah.
You said that you were very active and you were very hyper, and in modern day, this might be a good indication for the child to be very hyper and very active, and it means his brain cells are working perfectly, and he's just being a kid.
Yes, indeed.
And
yes, indeed.
I think it's just a matter of how to regulate and discipline the child in such a way that they don't lose this hyperness or this activity,
exactly.
While they follow the discipline of the house. But I think us growing up together, and as there is no very big age difference between me and you, it's almost only a year, and I think we built a very strong bond, and we were more than friends.
Exactly, because indeed.
Age, I think the closeness of the age creates an understanding, while also many times you would have misunderstanding.
Exactly.
If the two are very close in age, because you would find that the younger one might not accept the elder one being as an elder, and giving commands and instruction. So in our childhood, Brother Haytham, we were two different people. You were the talkative, the active one, and I was the shy, isolated one. And that worked out very well for you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, to start off, I kinda was a bit, you could say, protective. And it's not like running the show more than being protective and over my younger brother. And that obviously helped in shaping up my personality as being the outspoken person. Yeah. I just wanted to do everything for you. I wanted to create that atmosphere. I wanted to be protective. I wanted to be the one who teaches you everything. Though the age difference wasn't huge, but it as you know, it played a big role in shaping the personality.
And how do you think you got these values? Is it from our parents directly, or is it was just a natural instinct from you?
Well, I guess genetics play a big role in this. Although, as you know, that our dad is quite a humble, unique person, a very quiet person, and he speaks so little words of wisdom that explains a lot. And the active engine at home was our mom. So, these blends of qualities, I think they were engraved genetically in all our personalities. I think I've inherited from both of them. You have inherited from both of them, and it's qualities that somehow shapes the personality of a person.
Okay. In terms of school and education, how was school when you were younger?
Well, you had to be a survivor. In our old days, it's quite different than it is currently, because we had a lot of outdoors activities. Whereas now, there's those games, PlayStations, the I generation. But in our days, it was all outdoors. And in an outdoor, you get to face a lot of challenges that kids that they face. They create that atmosphere. The childhood thing. It's you have to prove yourself. You have to stand for yourself. You have to protect yourself. So I believe you remember that I got into a lot of fights, and mainly to prove, there's always that alpha kid, I just didn't want to be the second kid, I just didn't want to be the one to follow. I wanted to be followed. So, and that created a lot of...
and you caused a lot of damage.
Yes, and I caused a lot of damage. Mainly in my face.
I just wanted to share something. It's now... I think we have better schools than the ones we had before. Before we had good schools in terms of education, but in terms of environment and safety, and we studied in the worst environment.
Exactly.
But it was okay.
It was okay.
And we were able to cope. But now, don't you think we're a little bit overprotective when it comes to our children, and we don't put them in public schools, and we're very. It means. We're too worried about them. Don't play with the sand. Who's your friend? What time did you come back from school?
Yes, exactly.
Did you do your homework? What did you eat? Are you going to starve? But in our days, it was just easy going, and you had to cope. You had to survive. I remember many times when we missed the school bus. And I don't want to go into details how our school bus looked like. It was like more like a truck full of cattle, and and we had to walk home. And we're talking about like 6 to 7 kilometers.
Probably more. Yeah. We had to walk from Al-Khawd, let's say, to Al-Hil.
Yeah, and we were at the age of 9 or 10 at that time, and it was okay. And we reached home and we did our thing. But now I think we're really overprotective, and is that good, or is that healthy, or should we be that way?
Well, you can't quite compare because the atmosphere then, the environment then was different. Things were much easy, were much simple. everyone knew one another, and the society was so protective. But as the population grow, there's good and there's bad. So I think yes, it's quite different. But we had our good stuff, and the generation now has their good stuff.
If I may ask you, what are you worried about when it comes to school, to your kids now? What are you concerned when they go to school? What are you worried about?
Well,
what are the things that are you worried about?
Well, to be quite honest, I always get complaints. About a lot of things, but I think myself, you, Brother Hatim, and every other parent are quite worried about what's happening now in terms of drugs and all that stuff. Because it's getting into the society in schools, and that's quite dangerous. That's very dangerous. And I think that each parent, no matter how young your kid is, you need to educate them. You need to alert them. You need to teach them. Be open to your kids. Yeah? And because a lot of parents, they've suffered with their children because they got into bad groups, and that's the main thing. Groups. Open up to your kids and share, be friends with them. And as you know, Brother Hatim, our parents did that with us, and that helped us a lot. It engraved that trustness in
openness
towards our parents. We could go and tell anything to our parents. Our dad, our mom, they were, and they still are our best friends, and we can go up and open up and tell them anything. That's an important factor in building a relationship with kids in order to protect them.
Now, you've said something very important is building the relationship with our children. In modern time, how do we establish, this relationship with our children? As our lives are on the fast lane. We're always busy. We're at work. We spend a lot of time out of the house, and the children are most of the time at school. When they come back, they are busy with the homework, and then they'll have dinner, and maybe you'd have like half an hour or an hour with them, and then they go to bed. So how do you bond with them? And especially cases similar to yours, Brother Haytham, as I wanted to tell our audience that you work in the desert.
Exactly.
And you're here for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks you're away.
Yeah.
So when you come here for the 2 weeks, it might be difficult maybe to cover up all the things that you have to do that you missed out in the past 2 weeks. So maybe you have work or other appointments to catch up with during these 2 weeks. And most of the time when you're at home, your kids are at school.
Yeah.
And so how do you build this relationship? How do you build this bond? Is time the factor to judge here, or is it just what you do for your children?
Well, Brother Hatim, to be honest, we get carried away with life and the demands that comes with it, and as you said, the fast lane. But for instance, in my case, there's advantage and disadvantage of working on and off Muscat. And what I normally do, in my case, the 2 weeks that I'm away, I continuously keep contact with my kids. Call them every day, build that relationship through, if I deliberately don't call for 2 days, and then the third day, and then I keep on asking them, did you miss your dad? Try and find a way to communicate. So there's that continuous communication between me and my kids. The other thing, I try my level best to spend quality time with them away from the house.
As a group or as an individually?
As groups and individually as well.
Okay.
Because you need to build that group thing, that bond that we are a family.
Before you continue, Brother Haytham, I think your kids are excited listening to you. Can you tell us the names of your kids?
I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. I have my daughter Jinan. She's 11. And then my daughter Afnan, and she's 9. And then my son Al-Harith, and I named him after my dad.
Yeah.
And he's 8, and my daughter Iman, the last one, she's 6.
Oh, mashallah. So
And I guess they're very excited, listening to their dad.
Okay, tell us about the relationship. How do you do it?
The other thing that I do is that, as you remember, Brother Hatim, our dad used to take us to the beach.
Yeah.
How did that play a big role in you raising your kids?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. Even though sometimes you might be very busy, but quality time with your children makes a big difference. And those few moments that you have with your parents, you cherish them forever and you remember them.
Exactly.
And they always stick in your memory.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, you do the same thing to your children.
Exactly.
Because you have that feeling, that good feeling inside you, that I enjoyed this journey to the beach with my dad and my mom, and we had the wonderful time. We had fun, we joked, we had something to eat, and it sticks there because it's something good.
Exactly.
Similarly, if you have a bad experience with your parent, it also sticks and it stays there for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So it's very, very important to have these quality moments with your children.
Yeah, and a great example of that is that myself and you and our third brother, Brother Hisham, we all take our kids to the beach.
Yes.
So it started with our dad, but it was engraved in our personality, and we do the same with our kids. And this is a live example of that whatever you do to your kids stays with them, whether it's good, whether it's bad. These memories are tattooed and they're engraved in their memory.
So some things never change, they're the same.
Exactly.
You can't have cyber beach or something.
Oh, no.
in a game or something. You have to go to the actual beach.
And we need the outdoors. We need the quality time. In the summer, I take them almost every day to the beach. And during the other days, of course, during the weekdays they're busy with their studies and their homeworks and so on and so forth. But during the weekends, after the morning prayer, I normally take them to the beach. So I try to find any time to spend with them. Another great example. I guess everyone in Oman knows the softy ice cream.
Yeah.
My kids love that. How did I make them love that? Is that I attached it with a story. I told them, my kids, when we were young, with your Uncle Hatim, with your Uncle Hisham, and Dad, and your Grandpa, and your Grandma, and they used to take us to this ice cream. It's a very old place. We used to go and have fun. And so the first thing when I come back to the desert, from the desert, is that the request comes, Abui,
let's go.
Let's go to Softy. Yeah, you see? Another great example is that try your level best to find activities. Sports, challenges. I take my kids to bowling.
Yeah.
And I have a challenge with them. And the best way to raise kids and the best way to build that relationship is that by engaging with them in stories. Teach them about your family history. Tell them about life. Tell them about Oman. Tell them about our great leader, Sultan Qaboos. Engage in this, and they love this, and that's how they're going to be attached to you, because they build their personality, they build this relationship with the stories, and to me that's quite important.
I think you said something very important is to engage them through stories. Most of the time as parents we tend to focus on the instructions.
Exactly.
And the demands
Yeah.
that we give to our children. And we forget about talking to them, having a simple chat, sharing stories as you
Exactly.
mentioned.
Exactly.
This is a very educational way and a very practical way to gain the trust of your child and to build that relationship, and this is something that you will embed inside the life of your child, and they will carry on the legacy with their own children as well. Now, Brother Haytham, we spoke about the relationship with the children in terms of a group. How about individually? Now, each child has their own demand and personality and requests and, a different style to deal with them. Is it all, you treat them all in a same way, or each one of them has a unique way that... I think we should ask them not to listen now.
First of all, nobody said raising kids was easy. It's a very, very tough job.
Full-time job.
It's a full-time job and
unpaid.
And first of all, this is a thank you to all the mothers out there. Thank you for taking care of our kids. Thank you for providing this love, this care. Mothers are the pillars, the main pillars of a family. Yeah, mothers. If I started talking about mothers from now till the end of time, I wouldn't finish, because mothers, so thank you, our wives, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, it plays a big role, having a great mother. And, of course, kids, you need to make some time. I think the best investment anyone could have is that you invest in your kids. Okay, we'll take them to good schools. We'll try to provide everything, but providing knowledge, good attitude, someone who can give back to the community, someone who could give back to this world, that's the challenge. It starts with the mother, because she's the
nurturer.
Yeah, and then it continues with the dad, with the instructions and with the you have to be a role model to your kids. Teach them by example. Of course, one could say that raising boys it's harder than raising girls, and raising or the other way around. Well, parents should be in one page in raising kids. For instance, there's the group teachings and building that bond, and then there's the individual. In my case, my girls, they built a very strong relationship with their mom. Okay, but at the same time, they look up to me. The other day I was asking them, do you really see me as a role model? I said, yes, Dad. We want to be like you. I try and lead by example. And I spend a lot of time as well with the boy. Because the boy, it's easy to deal with because we understand each other. Yeah, so we kind of divide.
You're from the same planet.
We are from Venus. So it's quite important. The other important factor is not to compare. Don't compare. Don't you ever compare between your kids. Everyone, Allah has given them a certain talent. Someone might be good in studies, the other one might be good in drawing, and the other one might be good in sports. The other one is very kind, the other one is very giving. It's so you shouldn't compare. You shouldn't compare.
Each one of them has a quality, a unique quality.
A unique quality that you should really focus on developing that quality. Yeah, and that's why I said, Brother Hatim, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job because you need to understand the psychology of that boy or that girl, and you need to know more and understand. And hopefully things will
work out.
Will work out, yeah.
Dear listeners, you can always join us in the discussion, and you can tell us what you think or ask us any questions. You can call us on 24602058. That's 24602058. Okay, now when it comes to, you said something very important, which is comparing between the children. Each one of us come from the same mom and dad, but every one of us comes out with a unique personality and qualities. And one of the skills which is required for a parent to have is to observe, to be a very good observer, and to try and find out what are the qualities of the child. I think we have a caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Hello, wa alaikum salam.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing?
Fine. Can you hear me clearly? Hello? Okay, I think you should call back again because we can't get through to you. Yes, what we were saying, the qualities that the parents should have, which is the skill to identify what is unique about my child and how can I develop this quality, and maybe the shortcomings of that child as well, maybe develop that side as well. If, let's say, in terms of studies, if they're weak in particular area, then I think we should not let go and only focus on the on the strength of the child. We should also look at the weakness and try and develop that, at least to get it to an average level, a certain level, an average level.
MashaAllah. It is quite a challenge to try to.
I think the caller. We have another caller.
Okay.
We'll continue after the call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing, brother?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, tell us.
Yeah, your voice is a bit low, so I cannot hear you, by the way.
Is it clear now?
Okay, it's a bit clear. Brother Hatim and Brother Haytham, how are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
I hope everybody's doing good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, just a very quick question.
Yes. Go ahead.
We know that technology is the dominant force at this age and time.
Yeah.
It's different from our days, with the iPads, iPhones, computers, internet, and everything. We cannot stop our kids from, interacting with the technology.
Yeah.
But the question is, how can we, or should we manage raising our kids with all the good and bad that's out there with this technology around us?
Yes, that's a very valid question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, now regarding to the question of a brother, we'll take this question after the break. We have a prayer break now, and after the break, inshallah, we'll take the question. Not yet? Another 3 minutes? Okay, let us take the question. Okay, regarding technology is very, very important and essential in our lives, and I had a few discussions with a few of my guests, and some of them suggested the element of depriving them from technology, which is impossible. And I had an argument with a group of people, and they were saying that we should put restrictions on our children when it comes to technology like gadgets, mobile phones and things. And I said, how can you restrict them while you they can operate that machinery or that equipment better than
you.
you. When you buy a new mobile, you ask your child to do the settings for you.
Exactly.
And they can easily break your password and go into the mobile and download and upload and do everything with the mobile phone or the internet or the social networking websites. So I think the best thing that you can do as a parent is build the relationship with your child and build the trust. So educate your children on what is right and wrong so that they can be their own police in terms of they would identify what is right and what is wrong. Yeah. They would know what is the advantage of this thing and what is the disadvantage. Instead of just demanding and shutting them off from technology and commanding them that no, you should not do this, and then they do it behind your back, then that's not the right way. The right way is to take them through it and put proper barriers. For example, when you have a computer or PC that has an internet connection, put it in the living room so that everybody can see what they're doing. Exactly. Things like that. I think we can continue the discussion after the prayer break.
Inshallah.
The Modern Family.
The Modern Family.
Our listeners, now it's time for a call to prayers. Adhan al-Isha, according to local timing of Muscat and its suburbs. Those who reside outside Muscat Governorate have to notice the difference in timing. Radio Sultanate of Oman.
The Modern Family.
The Modern Family.
Welcome back, Brother Haytham.
MashaAllah.
We were just addressing the question of our dear caller, Captain Ammar. He was asking about technology and how can we raise our kids with the challenge of technology. Yes, we said technology is a two-edged sword, and everything needs to be moderate when it comes to technology or anything else in life. So first of all, the parent needs to educate themselves when it comes to technology. So they should be aware of how to operate these technologies, and what are the threats and dangers related to these technology, and what are the things that might go wrong, what are the chances of our children to have access to these technologies. So and you should always regulate it in such a way, like for example, you should instruct your children to use the gadgets in a particular time of the day, or maybe once a week or twice a week, not in a manner that it is not regulated in a regulated way. But at the end of the day, it's part of our life now. Technology is part of our life, and we can never deprive our children from technology.
Yes,
don't you
Brother
think
Hadim.
so?
And to add to your point is that I believe you need to take them into. You need to involve them. And you need to involve them in physical sports. This part. In our days, all our time we spend it outside, and that helped us physically a lot. Nowadays, it's quite we are kind of overprotective of our kids, so we need to find a way to involve them physically in sports.
And this will distract them.
It will distract them from And when you come back from the beach and they had a swim or they had they ran over and this helps them. When they come back, they're too tired and they don't go to those gadgets. So involving them physically is quite important.
And I think even as we said at the beginning, parents playing like role models has a big impact on our children. Now, for example, when parents come back from work, if they just switch off their gadgets and just focus on the children, so this way the children will know that the quality time of the family is more important than the messaging and social networking. So they will go as in the footsteps of the parents, and they would do the same thing as they're growing up. They would know that okay, there's time for technology, and there's time for family, there's time for study. Everything has to go in a particular manner. Exactly. And our religion also teaches us to be organized, that we should not always waste our time in such matters, and we should always be moderate in terms of our lives.
And it's quite a challenge, Brother Hatim. As you said, in our religion, we have a very good example. We have a whole chapter, a whole surah in the Quran that talks about the relationship between the parent and the kid. Surah Luqman.
Yes.
It talks a lot about the relationship. How you should spend time with your kids, and how you should teach them, and how you should engage with them, and how you should build value with them. So I mean, these are the teachings and the other thing that you have to know that what goes around comes around. Raising kids is not an easy job. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us that if you become an obedient kid to your parents, Allah will guide you with your kids. So this is a very important factor, that if you take care of your parents, then your children will take care of you. So we shouldn't neglect, and we shouldn't ignore these teachings that come from the Quran.
Now, how is it important to link between the children and their grandparents? It means building the relationship between the children and their grandparents.
First of all, gatherings. Gatherings are very important.
Family gatherings, and as you know that we normally, every Friday we meet at our parents' house and try during the week, despite our busy schedule, to have that ongoing visits with our parents. To be engaged with our parents, and that's quite important. One of the great examples, Brother Hatim, is that that our late grandma, she wrote a poem about our dad. Yes.
Yeah, and I always keep on telling my kids about that. So they get emotionally involved with my dad in terms of their relating between the poem and
The relationship
the
between you and
relationship,
dad.
yeah, and the other thing, you know, they always want to be with our mom. You know, they want to be good in cooking like our mom, and they want to engage with our mom. You know, during the summers they want to go and you know and do some activities with mom, and so it shows that I teach my kids that my parents are as important as you are. You know, they are part of my life. Is you can't live with us, and I can't live with them.
Without them.
Without them. So this builds the whole thing of a relationship and the love between the grandkids and the.
And I think the value of this relationship is maybe in a certain time. For example, if your child is suffering from a particular challenge or a problem, and they cannot address you directly, they can always go to their grandparents.
Yes.
and talk to them.
Yeah.
Because the bond is there and the relationship is already built, and they might feel that their grandparents are more lenient and more easygoing, and they can listen to them more than the direct parents.
Because as you know, the love of the grandkid is more than the love of the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a saying in Arabic, "A'azz al-wild, wild al-wild." So I mean, our parents they were very strict with us.
Yes.
But they're very
lenient
and soft with our you know. So it's always, you know, they're the safe way, you know. So. Yeah, as you said, it's quite important.
Now, when it comes to raising your children, and do you always put in mind that you have to impress your parents?
Well, that's quite a challenge. Well, first of all, we will always seek guidance from our parents.
Yes.
Yeah, we will always seek guidance. At the back of our head, we want to raise our kids in a better way than our parents raised us. Yeah, but it's quite a challenge because they have.
I might challenge you in the word better. I might say in a different way.
In a different way. Oh, you can say in a different way, because you know, the atmosphere then was different, and the atmosphere now is different, and
yes.
the challenges then were different than now, and it's you want to impress your parents.
Yeah.
At the same time, you wanna, you know, you don't wanna be criticized by them that, okay, you know, you young generation, you know, you don't do it the way we did it. But it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's quite a challenge.
What happens when you have a rebellious child? A child who doesn't listen, or you have to go through extreme measures like punishing them. You could
use a punch now and then.
Yeah. So how do you deal with certain kids?
I think every parent is facing that, Brother Hatim, in their homes. And punishment is it varies from one to another.
Yes.
You know, some parents will go to
extreme,
and some will go into, you know, the emotional effect.
Yeah.
To me, the emotional effect is, you know, the emotional punishment. It's more than the physical punishment.
Give us examples of an emotional punishment.
For example, you know, all kids they love going to Dubai.
Yeah.
They love going to Kidzania.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, you address the kid. You love going to Kidzania? Okay. You need to fix yourself or improve in these areas. If you don't, then sorry.
We're all going and
you're left behind.
Yeah.
That, it will have an effect more than just taking smacking them and you know, because
does it work?
It works. Indeed it works. You know, you're not going to have an iPad. You know, let's say they bought a camera from their Eid money or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, you just take the camera from them. You know, just
Deprive them.
Yeah, deprive them and punish them in what they love. And you can, you just talk to them as an adult. Okay,
And you explain to them.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, you can even give them the choice of choosing their own punishment.
How is that? That's gonna be very easy.
Yeah, you know, I asked you to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you don't, tell me, what punishment can I do to you?
So whatever choice they give you, you will accept,
Exactly.
even if it's an
No,
easygoing punishment.
of course. You know,
Or do
kids
they have
tend to be tricky, but
multiple choice questions?
yeah, I mean, kids tend to be tricky, but
Yeah.
but again, you know, it's something serious. So, you know, I've tried all the ways to help you in this area, but it seems that you choose your punishment, and be assured that I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So you teach them to suffer the consequences of their actions. Yeah, a kid is never too young. You know, we start teaching our kids prayers at the age of 7, and we are commanded to hit them if they don't pray by the age of 10.
Yeah.
So at the age of 7, you know, talk to them as adult. Talk to them as responsible. Yeah. You know, they will have their childhood, of course. You'll play with them, you know, but you need to teach them as well responsibility.
Yes. Now, the abilities of your children might vary. Before I continue, I would like to remind our listeners, whoever wants to share with us their thoughts, they can always call us on 24602058. That's 24602058. Okay, I was saying that our kids, each one of them have different capabilities, and some of them might be high flyers. They're extremely good in their studies, and they're better off than their siblings.
Yeah.
And they might show off this ability to their weaker siblings, and this might affect the relationship between them, or they might have an argument. So as a parent, how do you interfere in the middle, and how do you regulate this thing? You know, one of your child is extremely brilliant, is very good at school, is an A student, and the other one is not. And you want to give both of them the attention that they need. So you don't want to neglect the A student, and you always want to encourage them that they can always, you know, maintain this level. And the other one as well, you want to encourage them to be better, but you don't want to compare them with the first one. We'll take a call, and then you can answer this question. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello?
Hello? Yes?
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Haytham, how are you?
I can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. What about you, Hatim?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. So today we have two Haythams on the show.
MashaAllah.
How are you, Haytham? Hello?
Yeah, there is a kind of delay in the dialogue.
Okay, maybe you should call back. Hang up and call us again.
Fine, I'll do that.
Okay. Yes, what were we saying, Brother Haytham?
Yeah, about the main thing, as I said in the beginning of this talk, is that try to avoid comparison. Comparison is you know, the effect of comparison is so negative. And when you address a kid that has weakness, try to do it alone. Yeah? And try to break whoever comes and tries to show off their strength.
Yes.
Yeah, because you need to build the bond that everyone complements the other. You know, Brother Hatim, as you said in the beginning, you were a shy boy, and I was outspoken boy, and but we complemented each other. We were a team.
I'm not sure about that.
You know, we were a team, and that's what you need to teach your kids. That you need to be a team. You complement each other. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
You know, and it's not easy. Again, as I said, it's not easy. But you need to engrave those values in them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the relationship between the two parents, the mother and the father, how does it affect on their children? What should it portray when it comes to the child? What should they see in their parents? Should their parents be on the same page, or should they always disagree, or should the mom have a different way of raising up the children, and the father have a totally different, opposite way?
Well, it's quite important that the two parents be on the same page when it comes to raising kids.
Yeah.
And it's quite important as well to be example. You know, to show the example, the relationship between the father and the mother, and try to avoid any conflict in front of the kids, because it has a negative. We never saw our parents fight. Every husband and wife fights.
Yes.
But we never saw our parents fight. And we tried not to show our kids when we have an argument or we disagree, you know, between a dad and a mom. And that's quite important in raising up kids, because they have that image, you know. The image plays a big role in raising the kids.
Okay, we have a call. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. From very far away, Khatam.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. How are you, Brother Haytham?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, and how's your brother Haytham?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Haytham.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ikram. How are you, Brother Haytham?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Nice hearing from you.
Yeah, yes. I just wanted to congratulate all of you over there.
MashaAllah.
Because I think you're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I would like to intervene to add some of my thoughts into the best way to raise children from my own experience.
That would be wonderful, Brother Haytham. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a son, which is my eldest, and I have 3 daughters. And I think it's quite challenging nowadays to be able to raise our kids in the proper manner, or we could say with the same way that we've been brought up to, and at the same time in a very religious and Islamic way.
Yes.
I believe the best thing for our kids is to be able to spend more time with them, which you referred earlier as a quality time. But I think most parents, I would, you can say, in my own opinion, have taken it, you can say, with the modern life a bit the opposite way. What I mean by that is that your first job is to be the parent, but your job that you go to work every day is supposed to be the secondary part.
Yes.
When you come back after a long, hectic day, you're tired, you want to get rest or re-energize yourself by doing lots of activities, so you need to include your kids. And that is the best way of doing it. And indeed, we need to be able to listen to our kids, because we need to ask them how was their day, what kind of experience they had, what was different about their day today, for them to be able to learn from you, and you will learn from them at the same time. I believe technology at the end of the day has to advance, and kids are very much attached to it.
Yes.
But as it is said earlier, a proper kind of, you can say, parental guiding, and not to do it excessively, but to do it with a limited control, I believe this should be the way.
Thank you very much, Brother Haytham, for your thoughts and for sharing them with us. And we ask Almighty Allah to help us in this very important responsibility within our hands. And no matter how busy we are in life, we should always allocate our time, our valuable time, for the main job, as you told us, which is raising our children. And inshallah, we're going to see the fruits of this quality time with our children when they grow up and they raise their children in the same way and they take care of us.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, Brother Haytham. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Shukran.
Okay, we have the last few moments of our show. Brother Haytham, can you give us a few words of advice to our parents before we wrap up today's show?
A few words to
the parents.
To the parents, yeah. My advice is that our kids are the biggest investment we would ever have in this world. Yeah. And these are the teachings of our religion through Quran and through the teachings of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's as I said, from the Quran, the teachings that we had from the righteous man Luqman from the Quran, and from the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, that if you raise one of the hadiths, that if you raise a good son, he's gonna, the fruit, you'd have the fruit after your death. Continuous reward. So to me, it's that we should try our level best to spend as much time as we can with our kids. Try to allocate even half an hour or 1 hour a day, listening, playing with our kids, do whatever activities it takes, It doesn't have to be just follow up in their studies. Their mom can do that, Probably you come back late from work, but at least engage with them. Whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, you need to build that bond. At the end of the day, that's what counts.
Brother Haytham Harith Al-Abd Salam, thank you very much for joining us today. And today is not the last day.
Inshallah.
We hope to see you more and more on the show.
Inshallah.
And we're grateful that you accepted our invitation. And we hope our listeners as well have benefited from today's session. See you inshallah next time. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you and your family and your relatives as well. Dear listeners, I'm your host Hatem Al-Abd Salam, signing off for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.